So I went from Tokyo to Fukushima today. And that was a mission, man. 3.5, 4 hours one way. Finally getting back. Missed the bus. We're in the castle. I guess this is where it all ended for the samurai. When the new government came in, bombarded the crap out of this castle. Sad day, sad day. There's the main gates right over there. Main castle. I did have a tour guide, and she took me around the grounds and everything. I didn't film during it, but maybe I could regurgitate as much as I could. This whole courtyard area is where they used to live. There was like buildings here for different reasons, funerals, women's. Nobody lived in the castle. It was used for storage. It was mainly a symbol of power and a look tower, see at the top, to ward off the enemies. Take a look around. There's really not much over there. There's a lot of kids playing around and people, so I'm sure they don't want some weirdo filming with all the kids around, so I'm not going to do that. They're very particular about filming here in Japan, so I'm just trying to be as respectful as I can. More than half of the things that I've came here to do, I was not able to film, so here's the gate, main gate. It's covered in iron. It's a wood gate with iron on the outside. And then these, like wavy, the white part resembles the waves. The circles above it with the little spiral thing, that's like a rapid wave. They put these above the gate. We don't want this stuff catching on fire because this is our main gate right here. So they added some water symbols and stuff above it. Very cool. I wonder if they ever close these. This castle got destroyed by an earthquake. So then one of the rulers of this area, he rebuilt it, and this is what they rebuilt. And then in the 1800s, there was the Civil War, and this building actually got pretty messed up during the Civil War. And then after that, they fixed it all up. But this thing was like battered, it had artillery rounds hitting it, you know, small arms, all that good stuff. But this foundation is original. It didn't change. It's still the same foundation. It didn't get messed up during the earthquake, and it was by design. So you know, it's dirt underneath with like pebbles and then these big rocks. So just how they designed it with the spaces in between, the earthquake didn't impact it. But these corners here, these like rigid corners that are very specific, they have a long stone, short stone, long stone, short stone, and these pillars on each corner are so strong that in the event that the rest of the foundation fails, these corners will remain. And my tour guide showed me a picture of another castle somewhere else where this whole piece right here was just gone. There was nothing there, but the only thing that was here was just this corner pillar. So it's like a fail-safe, you know, like if your corners are good, then no matter what, your building will remain. These are all cherry trees. Very interesting stuff. There's a different type of cherry tree that's blooming right now. Those stones, when I first started, there was a lot that were real flat and just kind of like refined, like kind of like these ones right here. These are the original, and then there was a couple of periods where they were adding in, and they just, you know, honed their craft a little bit better. So they were getting better at making these stones. This is a wall, so there's like a moat around this whole castle, and then there's an outer moat that goes far. It's like kind of, it's really a big outer moat. But this is how you would get up to the wall. So on the other side of this wall right here is the main ramp coming into the castle to get over the moat. And how they would get up here is they would go left side up and then the right side coming down. And the reason why is because they were samurai and they had swords. They needed to come up on the left side so that way their swords weren't scraping up on the side of the wall. They rebuilt that staircase after the earthquake, but that right side they did not. I'll go up there. I'll wait for them. There's an original tent. No, just kidding. Very interesting. Let's go up here. If I remember right, with Shintoism, these pillars meant for the gods to walk through. Well, let's see. This definitely says things and stuff. Interesting. That'd be cool to see what that said. Wow. It's just like a little remake. Oh, here we go. Here's the moat. So she showed me a map, and the outer moat is like way out there. The samurai didn't live here in the castle area. She was saying that it's not like Western castles or Chinese castles. They like blocked off the whole city, but this castle was only it was women samurai and older samurai, so people who weren't able to fight but they were still able to care for wounded and stuff like that. So that's where they were held up. And then out here where like the town is today is where the samurai men used to live. I think they said they only built like 500 houses. So it's a whole town that one of the emperors that was ruling this castle, and he built the town for the samurai. He put the outer moat around the town, and then here, this is the inner moat for the castle itself. Oh yeah, you can see there's a wall, another wall right there, another little one over there. So here, this is the walk up to start coming in. Let's go this way. I don't think this got rebuilt. I think this is original too, this whole wall. They redid the stairs. And then here's the right side where this is what it would have originally looked like. It got disheveled from the earthquake. They didn't need to rebuild it because the guide was like, I don't know why they didn't do this one, but they did not. Yeah, I mean, it looks fine, so maybe they were just like, yeah, it's good enough. Maybe this side got wrecked. If you want a guide, they don't take you inside the castle. They just walk you around, but they tell you a bunch of good stuff. That green sign right there tells you go check in at the tourist information there. It's free. They just take your name, and then you just hang out there for the time. They actually had an English-speaking tour for me. Okay, here's the different family symbols of who ruled during this period. So this right here is a wisteria leaf. And the wisteria leaf they used to call Fuji, which is the same as Mount Fuji. Fuji means no death. So this emperor designed his family crest with that in mind, like no death. You know, we want peace. This one right here is a bamboo. So bamboo, it grows 1 meter per day, she said, so very quick. And then these are sparrows that lay a ton of eggs, so they were hoping for a very prosperous ruling. I guess it was only a year long. And this emperor here, his name was Gamo. He's the one who built the area. Okay, so dang, I was way off. Yeah, 1590. And then again, this dude took over. But he built this whole town. He built the castle, the original one. Not the original castle. This dude was the original castle. But the earthquake hit at some point. He rebuilt it. He built what's here today. And he built this, and then the samurai village, the moat. He designed this whole town. When we turn this corner right here, it's going to be the main entrance coming up into the castle. So this was like a way to funnel enemies come through this way. There was actually 3 huge gates right here. You can see in the wall right here, there's these indentations from the pillars. There's one there, there's one right here going up, and then another one here, and the same on the other side. So there used to be big gates right here, but it would funnel them this way. And then where I showed you the stairs, it's on the other side of here, so they would run up and they can be up here and shoot down at you. I know during the Civil War, dude, crazy enough, the American Civil War had a part to play because the guns that we utilized during the Civil War, and after we were done with them, we had a bunch of excess firearms in the country after that, so we started exporting, and Japan got a bunch of them, and they were using American Civil War guns here in their Civil War. And that's when today's current government was fighting against the samurai, and yeah, that was the end of the samurai. So after our Civil War, they had their Civil War, and there was 5,000 people held up in here for a month. Sad days. This rock right here is the biggest rock in the whole castle, and in Japan, when they build these castles, they put the biggest rock right up front, and they call it a mirror rock. What she did tell me that I remembered was, imagine being the worker bee trying to carry this. She said it came from 2 kilometers away from the mountains, and they had to carry that sucker all the way over here, and it's a huge freaking rock. I don't know how deep it is, but it's super heavy. And so she said, you know, they had a hard time getting it over here, and people were starting to complain. They were getting lazy, and they were, you know, it's a huge rock, you know, so they were like, this is hard. Their idea to fix that was they got a lady and had her sit on top of the rock and just dance and kind of entertain for the dudes, and that worked. It got them to hustle up and start moving, so they got the rock over here. Here's the main entrance. This right here, there's a name for it, but it's these plants, this leaf. It's a red leaf. I'll get closer to it. But there's this red leaf, right? This plant that has a red leaf, and when the leaves fall, they kind of wither away. They resemble like somebody getting beheaded in a way, right? And that's what they were imagining, is those leaves were kind of like a beheading symbol, because that's what it looked like when they fell. So the samurai didn't plant these here. They didn't want them. Anyway, they were planted at the front as like a warning. So they're only right here at the very front, and you know, just a warning. It's like, hey, if you come uninvited, there's some intended consequences. But this ramp is named after that flower. And yeah, this is like a steel ramp or a wooden ramp, and they revamped this whole thing for modern purposes, emergency vehicles. This is exactly what it looked like. She had a booklet of like pictures. I almost thought they were wood at first. They almost looked like railroad ties, you know, huge long freaking pieces. But yeah, stone. Those must be the original pieces underneath. But it was, you know, helpful for horses and stuff like that coming up. There's that shrine thing up there I was looking at. Very cool stuff. Unfortunately, I couldn't take you inside. The inside, it was very modern. The staircases looked like they had been built like recently. You know, like I guess it's tourism now, so the only thing, it's kind of like a little bit of a museum inside where it gives you the history and the backstory, but the guide lady did like a really good job of explaining a lot of stuff. So when I went through it, there was some more information. There was some cool stuff in there. I won't tell you everything, so you guys can go see for yourself, but I was hoping it would be like castle-y inside, but it was just all modern. But here's the look like roses. Those flowers look exactly like a rose. The bush itself doesn't look like a rose bush. See that picture that the tour guide showed me? This was the castle and the inner moat. And then this, you can see here's the outer moat. So it encompasses like this whole town. And then they put a bunch of Buddhist temples. You see all the swastikas, or all the Buddhist temples all around the area. Yeah. And actually right here, martial arts practice area. Let's go take a look at that. There's this building right here, martial arts practice area. That's where I thought coming in, I was like, this looks like a spot like that. This is so cool. You know what? I want to see what this says. Oh, okay, so Hall of Martial Virtue. Martial arts practice, kendo, judo, etc. Wonder what this says. Oh, so that left sign says Aizu White Tiger Kendo Club. They teach kendo, Japanese sword, martial art, Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 6:30 to 8:30, or to 8 o'clock. Huh. 3 yen a month, or 5 yen joining fee. Okay. Recruiting kendo practitioners, especially in this area, kendo matters. So they want people to come train. Dang, that's cool. So if you want to come by and train, dude, these shit. I don't know how old this building is. Oh, look, those doors open. Well, it's been a little windy, but this weather is almost just like Southern California. Open those up, let the whole room breathe. But how freaking cool would that be to be able to come here and train, and just like, man, just like the history of this place, dude. Like all the samurai and battles that happen here. Go do some training. I wonder how much blood's been spilled over here on this freaking soil. Well, I guess that's it for the castle. On to the next.